This tells us that between 67 and 1980, the value of the goods and services produced in the Dallas metropolitan area will more than triple. I think very significant in terms of the potentials for doing the things contemplated by the goal. I think it also very interesting for us to know that as against 15.7% of the product produced in Texas in 1967, this current year we're going to have approximately 17.7%, and by 1980 well in excess of 18%.
I would really like to think so. Because until we get to the point that we can get away from the black and white situation, we'll always have a lot of problems. But unfortunately, I cannot get away from it in this particular situation. For this reason, this whole problem really got going when H.E.W. told the Wilma Hutchinson Independent School District how the school had to be set up this coming year.
I feel like first we should take care of the prisoners. That is our constitutional obligation. Then second would be the other prisoners. But $7.50 for a federal prisoner, and they have to be separated from the others, I don't think is an exaggerated fee.
Do you have to take federal prisoners?
No, we don't. If we decide that $7.50 is it and they disagree with us, then they can move their prisoners somewhere else. But I'm sure that all the jails in the state of Texas are probably full.
The men looked like they were in good physical condition. That is allegedly a Christmas film. That film, I would bet, a very substantial amount was made in April or May of this year. Because right after Christmas, and we have this feedback from correspondents that have interviewed the prisoners, conditions in the camp in terms of food, medicine, what have you, improved dramatically. The reason they improved dramatically is that the North Vietnamese wanted to get all their options in front of them. This is the reason we delayed our second trip for 90 days. Medical men told us it would take approximately 90 days to get these men in good physical condition. We felt that the North Vietnamese would start right after Christmas to have all their options in front of them, and that after a 90-day wait, possibly they would be willing to let people see their prison camps. Well, the first visible indication of what's happening has just come out in the film that Congressman Zion brought back from Paris.
Roy, what happened?
I came out of the cellar and went to unlock my car, and there was an explosion. And then I looked, and there was glass all over the place over here at the theater.
And then what did you do?
Well, I turned around and told somebody to call the police department and fire department because I saw smoke coming out of the building.
Was there anyone inside the building? Did you see anyone run from the building or anything?
No, I didn't.
I'm opposed to the direct popular election of a president. I think that, to begin with, a number of the small states would not want to ratify it. I think, too, that it gives vast encouragement to splinter parties, and I think that it might be detrimental to the two-party system. I preferred to preserve the control of the electoral machinery in the hands of the states. As far as election expenditure limitation is concerned, this is a bill designed to help the incumbents, and it places a sore and severe disadvantage on the non-incumbent who wants to challenge an incumbent, and I don't think it's fair.
As an incumbent, however, would you favor it in that sense?
No, I don't. I think it's unrealistic. To begin with, it limits the amount of money you can spend on television time, for example, when if you're going to impose a limitation, it should be on time rather than money, because the cost of television time varies from market to market.
I call it lack of concern about the welfare of people, and this has been demonstrated before. I think this is more that than anything else.
Especially in light of the fact, that this is the first time that this has ever happened, not only in the city of Dallas, but the first time in the state of Texas. An appalling distinction for the city of Dallas. And certainly it indicates no concern for people to start this kind of thing here. And I don't think the people throughout the city of Dallas and Dallas County want this kind of distinction.
Do you think you're going to get support from the rest of the community besides the black community in South Dallas? Any of you?
We are getting it all the time. Some of our top leaders have spoken out even this morning on this inequity. Yes, we'll get top support.
The city must fulfill their assurances which were given prior to their receipt of approval, which stated that they would, by the end of 1971, meaning the end of calendar year 1971, approximately 18 months hence, have executed proper and satisfactory management control of land use measures. They shall have put them into operation and implementation, and would have control of the land use in these floodplains to prevent future flood damage.
I don't know what fire official commented that a back door wouldn't have helped, but if he could have got from one corner of that apartment to the opposite corner, had they had a back door, they could have gotten out. And it was stated 5 days after the fire happened, one fire investigator, that had they had a back door, they would have gotten out.
Mr. Parker, do you feel that our present laws are inadequate?
Yes, sir, I do. We have some codes here that is in the code that Mr. Gray will read to y'all in a minute and give you the code number, which was adopted in 1968, and you won't find an apartment in Dallas that has the minute.
In other words, you're saying that the codes are not inadequate, just have not been enforced.
Yes, sir.
I think we have been undergoing change for the last decade or more in the university, in its internal constitution, in its image before the public. These changes have not only occurred in Texas, they are occurring around the nation. There have been opportunists that have taken advantage of the change to try to move into areas and misuse the university as a political instrument or as an instrument to apply solutions to society's problems.
Do you ever feel that any of this is communist-inspired, as has been brought up?
I don't think that one can say that the resultant effect is entirely along the lines of those who might believe in different ideologies. There must be a great number of people who sincerely believe that change is needed that are a part of these. However, I would not deny the fact that there is a hard core of radicals that are there in our institutions, not for the purpose of for education, but for using the institutions as instruments for which they're inappropriate.
In the time between their first position and up to now, the administration of the city of Fort Worth has been in contact, and dialogue has been open, and there has been much communication between the city employees and the city administration. The package that is being recommended for the employees in the upcoming budget has been improved.
Charlie Napper, how do you like working the new offense that Coach Carlin has installed?
I like it fine. It's going to help our offensive outlook a whole lot. It's going to make us, it's just, you can move the ball better with this offense, I feel, than the ones we've had in the past that I've played with, and since I've been playing football. It's just, it doesn't leave you with a third and long situation. It's, you get 4 or 5 yards on every carry. It's hard to lose yardage on it.
Let's go back last year briefly, Charlie. What was the outstanding point of your season?
Well, I'd say his SMU game was the outstanding point of my sophomore year. It was a great experience for me. I'd say Texas game was a great experience for me, but SMU would have to be the sparkle of my sophomore year, I guess you'd say.
Colonel Nolan, welcome to Dallas.
Glad to be here, Dale.
How was the flight, sir?
Real fine, real fine.
Ed White, the astronaut, was killed in a plane crash. His brother Jim was shot down a short time later. According to the best available evidence, his brother Jim was killed at the time of his plane was shot down. His wife Sharon would not believe that. She's been all over the world in an effort to gain information about her husband. You will be pleased to know, now Air Force generals, Jim White's father is an Air Force general and would be in a unique position to get access to the records of the crash, so on and so forth. Any logical man would have assumed, that understood airplanes and what have you, would have assumed he was killed. The fact remains, he's in the film. Jim White is alive in a prisoner of war camp. So was all that effort on the part of Congress worth it? I'd say if we only got that one name. That's a small, small thing to do for Sharon White and the White family.
"35 F-111 aircraft have been returned to the Air Force after rigorous inspection, testing, and modification procedures by General Dynamics. All F-111s were grounded last December when one of the planes lost a wing due to a metallurgical flaw. The two-man crew was killed when the crew module was ejected into the ground during an upside-down roll. The Air Force ordered a strenuous cold-proof testing procedure which subjects the craft to temperatures 40 degrees below zero. The cold-proof testing was to test for possible interior flaws of the aircraft in temperatures similar to the atmospheric conditions in which the craft flies in the higher altitudes. The three-phase program of inspection, cold-proof testing, and modification takes some 75 days for completion. The cost of the program is between $30 and $35 million, or about the cost of 4 F-111 aircraft. After much rigorous inspection and testing, no flaw has been discovered. Scientists say the percentages of another flaw occurring about 1 in 7 or 8 million. But the fact remains that one did occur and 2 men died. Even with this, it's ironic that statistically, the safest plane we have in our arsenal is the one that has been grounded for the last 9 or 10 months, the F-111. The pilots say it's a whale of an airplane. Art Sinclair, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
Yes, I am in general terms familiar with it, and I think it is the most far-sighted of any airport concept in the United States. There's a tremendous amount of work that's gone in here, and I think it's going to stand as a model for the rest of the country.
Does the Department of Transportation have an answer for our massive air congestion?
Well, I think now that we have the airport airways legislation enacted into law, we do have the money to get at doing the job. That's been the biggest problem to date, that we simply haven't had the resources, and we have them now. And we do have plans actively working, and I think we have a few test areas where we're trying out new systems to see how they work.
At this time, would you say the Department of Transportation has plans to pump additional funds either into Texas or specifically Dallas-Fort Worth for future development?
Well, I don't think that there are any additional funds. We're always reviewing applications, and where we feel that it's appropriate, we will come forward with money. I don't have any specific examples of that right now, however.
Trying to table the motion and study it and give considerable thought to this question in the meeting of the school board in November. First Thursday in November, they will take action.
Every year at the lavish kickoff dinner for the United Fund campaign, the results of the Advance in-Firm campaigns are made public. The Advance in-Firm work is an attempt to increase the involvement of selected companies in Fort Worth. Executives from the United Fund work directly within the companies in an effort to increase employee giving. The advance gifts are kept separate from the company donations, which come in later. This year's Advance Infirm campaign netted over $246,000, which is a $25,000 increase over last year. The United Fund hopes to collect $4.25 million during the campaign season with the slogan, "If you don't do it, it won't get done." Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
The portion of the product of the nation as a whole is projected to increase from 0.78% to 0.99%.
I enjoy it very much. I think that that I'm being some service to the children. Also applying for it because I thought it would be a good experience for me since I was going into the teacher's education field.
Is it really enjoyable being a teacher's aide? Do you enjoy yourself?
It certainly is enjoyable, and I do enjoy it because every day is an interesting experience with the children.
Do the teachers appreciate you?
I think they do very much.
The teachers are delighted that they don't have early morning duty and after school duty. They're real pleased that they have a free lunch period, and the teacher aide frees them from many of the clerical tasks that the teachers have been burdened down with in the past. The teachers are just real delighted, and they don't feel that they could do without teacher aides. In fact, they would probably like for the district to improve the program and add more teacher aides.
Generally, they're very pleased with the work the teacher aide is doing. We've had some feedback that in some schools they're not getting the 30-minute duty-free lunchroom that they have been promised. The teacher aide supposedly is to do this lunchroom duty so that the teacher will have at least 25 minutes where you can go to a private room and eat and be free of lunchroom duty.
What did the county school board decide to do on this Wilmer-Hutchins versus the people who want to leave Wilmer-Hutchins School District today?
The school board
ceremonies have been well in